we want St. Louis, or not even St. Louis, the Midwest to just be a hub for culinary. A lot of times you see a lot of trending stuff in the East Coast and West Coast, and it comes to the Midwest. We want to switch that directional. We wanted to make it where everything that is new and trendy is coming from the Midwest, going to the East and West Coast. We're really working on some really unique projects, and Braden included is a part of these, because we're just about creating experiences for St. Louis, for people to go out, have fun with friends and family, and really make this not only a great destination for St. Louisans, but also a tourist destination.
What's going on, OpeCast? It's Braden, and we're going to actually switch up the format here of the podcast. So when you're watching on YouTube, we're going straight into the interview. And then starting episode 9, if you are listening on any of the major streaming platforms, we're going to have the interview, and then we're going to go on to weekend events, New to the Lou, and Foodie Friday. So I appreciate you all being with us as we figure things out, figure out what's going to work for you. Now, on this week's episode, we have Chef JR. That's Juwan Rice. Him and I have developed this friendship over the last few years where, you know, he's someone that's very creative, and I love creativity, and he's actually spearheading the creative culinary culture in the Midwest. And so him and I have worked on different projects, whether it's catering the gourmet meal for the teachers of Central Visual and Performing Arts. We've hosted different events together, and we have a few other projects here in the very near future. So excited for you all to tune in. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and tell your friends about this podcast. So let's get to it. It's Brad and STL, and today on OpeCast, I have Chef JR. Now, you may know him from JR's Gourmet. He's been on TV shows, front cover of a lot of magazines. You're opening up a restaurant, and people just see you everywhere.
Yeah,
and
it's like I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
That is true. Like, you'll end up in a magazine, and it's like, what is this guy talking about now?
Yeah, like I'll be in an event and be like, oh, there goes JR, and then be like, oh, wait, where'd JR go?
Yeah, it's like
I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's why the food's good.
Yeah.
Dude, so welcome on OpeCast.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, so what do you think of our spot?
This is dope. You know, I really wish this fireplace. It's so hot outside right now, bro, that like looking at a fireplace right now, it's like I just want to take it out the wall. But like,
just open
shout
up
out
the
to
window.
the humidity, like humidity. I can imagine how the people were at the concert yesterday.
Oh yeah. So this will come out in a few weeks, but checked out Beyonce's show last night. It was a heck of a concert. Really good.
Yeah.
It was in the Dome. And shout out to the Dome for having AC. I was kind of...
They have AC.
Yeah, they do.
Really? That is shocking. That is so shocking.
I was kind of nervous because I'm like, man, that thing is probably from 1994 when it was
I was
built.
going to say, who's paying bills over there? Because that,
The price of those tickets, I think that was the facility. You know the facility fee? I never understood it until last night.
Really? Because what was it?
Oh, I can't remember. But probably like $100. You know, I almost said Spotify. What's that thing? Ticketmaster and all that, taking all those fees.
Yeah.
But hopefully the Dome got it because the AC was good.
That's good. That's good.
But enough about the AC, the concert. Let's get into you, man, because you make a lot of good food. You're young.
Yeah.
So how the heck did you get into this?
Bro, I started really young, and I tell this story so many times, and sometimes I forget it. I'm like, how? I keep forgetting the story. But no, started off at 6 years old, just in the kitchen with my grandma. We were, cooking, going grocery shopping together, and I wanted to know how she was able to take a bag of groceries and provide a meal for our family. Mm-hmm. So I went through the journey with her, went to the grocery store, brought the groceries back, saw how she put the time and effort into preparing all these ingredients, and then producing an amazing meal for our family. And at the end of the night, everyone's sitting at the dinner table. We get this food in front of us, and we're like completely forgot about everything we went through throughout the day. We could have been through hell throughout that day, but when we're sitting at that dinner table, we completely forget about everything. And I want to provide that experience for other people. So that's why, cooking is like a passion for me, but it's also... It's like a love language almost. Yeah.
Because food brings all kinds of people together.
Yeah. And it sparks memories, whether it's a smell or a sound. Like somebody can hear you frying bacon, and that reminds them of like their 4-year-old childhood when their dad used to make bacon on Saturday morning. So it's like there's these different key points that food brings that a lot of people really just don't tap into.
So like with your grandma, was she using the cookbook sometimes, or was it all just she was eyeballing it like, this is why I do this? This is why.
Bro, my grandma is the Dome master. She's cooking off the dome. Like how rappers spit off the dome, bro, that's my grandma in the kitchen.
She's like the Jay-Z there.
She's looking in the pantry, seeing what we got, looking in the fridge, seeing what we got. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to season the hell out of it. I'm going to put some love into it, and this is the meal that we're going to get.
So what does she think of your episode of Guys Grocery Games? Because that's basically what you had to do, right?
Yeah.
You just had to get some ingredients. You couldn't really, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, so you had to find something and make it. Like, what does she think of that episode? And then let's
No,
talk
it
about
was
that episode.
it was incredible. And sometimes I kind of have to break down and explain to her why I do what I do, or what steps I needed to take to make this dish. And because she's old school, she's Southern cooking, like some of the new techniques like go right over her head, like sous vide and all this type of stuff. So it's like sometimes I got to break it down a little bit to her, but she loves it, bro. Like she loves that. She was the inspiration from my career, like all that type of stuff. So she's in love with it.
So you also were you part of this? Was it is South Tech like an actual high school? Or is it like a prep program, so you're there half the day?
Yeah, so we're there for half of the day. It was the last 2 years of high school, so we're there half of the day, and then we go to our home school, which is Parkway North at the time. And then it's this back and forth type of motion. But no, that that's when I knew that this is something I wanted to do as a profession, because that's what took me from being a home cook to being a professional chef. Just the education that we had, the skill set that we had. I mean, our classroom was literally a commercial kitchen, so we were in there 4 hours out of the 8 hours a day, out of the 8-hour day, cooking and mastering and learning equipment and learning technique and all this type of stuff, and working with different people in the culinary industry. So in class, you have the class clown, you got the person that's to themselves, quiet, so there's these different things that really prepares you for what the industry is actually going to be like.
Wait, so you guys had superlatives? Okay, you have superlatives in
Bro,
the
that's
cooking
a
class?
big word. I don't know what that means.
Superlatives? So
Can we get a translator, please? I don't know what that means. What is that word?
So like superlatives, like it's so within the culinary class, you guys had class clown. Did you ever get like the best dressed person, like the top?
Oh, so we didn't. I mean, not really. That's
not
just
literal,
something that.
Okay, I was like,
not really in a sense like that. But
I was like, bro, I did not. I knew like Parkway Northwood had it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, South Tech, y'all.
No. So we didn't have like the culinary
most athletic
class clown in the
juggling
yearbook.
knives.
Yeah. that would be a good.
Or the dishwasher.
That'd be dope. That'd be super dope.
If you're the dishwasher, you could be the most athletic.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
You got to lift. That's a lot of. That's a lot of steel,
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so during that time, you're at South Tech, and then when did you start to work at a restaurant? And was that your senior year?
Yeah, so that was freshman, sophomore, like those were the years that I was like really exploring to see if this is something I wanted to do. At the time, I had JR's Gourmet, which I started at 14 years old, so I knew that I wanted to cook and do pastry and cook and food and stuff like that. Just didn't know in what aspect, because in the culinary industry, there's so many different aspects of being in business or working for someone that it's just the horizon is like huge.
Yeah.
And so at the time I was just, working at country clubs and restaurants and casinos and just trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. And then, bro, what was your question? I'm so sorry.
Some about, what was it? Producer.
It was, when did you start working in a restaurant?
Oh yeah, when did I start working in a restaurant? Okay, so I would say
that
was probably when I was like 16. That's when I first started working at my first restaurant. But then I think you were leading to when I graduated, I became the executive pastry chef at one of the top-rated seafood restaurants at the time. And then from there, became the executive chef. So I had people working under me that had been in the industry for like 40 plus years. And so I'm in this higher position. And obviously, when you got a kid telling you what to do, it's typically not the most received response. So it took a lot, and it really strengthened my confidence. Because if you're not confident when you're telling someone that, or leading, they're going to know. They're going to know instantly. Just like a dog can sense fear. It's the same thing.
Yeah, because it's like you got to be confident, and then you just got to know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
As long as really, like, in order to be confident, you just got to know what the hell you're talking about.
Exactly.
And then the person will listen to you. And, I'm one of those people. I'm like, if someone is 17 and they're good at whatever they're doing, and I'm like, cool, I'll listen to you. As long as you know what, you seem confident.
Yeah. And that's the thing about like this younger generation, us, is that like, we can take advice from anyone. Like we can take advice from an 80-year-old man. We can take advice from a 10-year-old girl that's teaching us about TikTok dances. Like we can take advice from anyone. It's just a matter of pulling out what you need to pull out from certain individuals.
Are you doing TikTok dances?
I'm not, bro.
Okay.
I'm not.
Just making sure.
Listen, I have rhythm, but I lack coordination.
No, I feel that. Yeah, 12 hours ago, I really felt that. So you were at that restaurant, and then COVID happened.
Yeah, COVID happened.
What happened?
We did what most restaurants tried to do at that point and pivot, tried to do carry out. Did not really work for us because our format was fine dining. And it's really hard to box up a fine dining experience into a box and deliver it to someone. So we ended up just shutting down the restaurant during that time. And during that time, obviously I was unemployed. So we just started selling food. We were selling food out of our house and doing pop-up events across the city.
Through JR's Gourmet, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So we were doing pop-up events all over the city. And then in the meantime, we had a lot of food left over. And so we started a crowd-funded event called Feeding the Frontline. And so we really wanted to target, because at the time a lot of restaurants were targeting like firefighters and police officers and stuff. But we really had a niche market that we wanted to target, and that was healthcare workers, people that are dealing with the elderly, people that are dealing in nursing homes, because a lot of times these facilities were locked down for 2 weeks and 3 weeks at a time. And these people can't leave. They're literally on lockdown. So they're living in these facilities with their patients, away from their family, away from home cooked meals for this 2 to 3 week span. And so we stepped in and provided a meal for a lot of healthcare workers during that time.
Yeah, it's weird to think that was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, that was the life we lived. But also during that time, you had some unique opportunities. So you were on Guys Groceries game. Was it Guys?
Guys Grocery Games.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So how was that? How did they reach out? What was that process like?
Yeah, it was a little sketch at first. There's this person
email
that has 200 followers on Instagram that hops in your DMs, and it's like in that weird area where you got to click on it to see their message type of thing. So I clicked on it, hit her up. She was like, "JR, we really want you on this episode. We can't tell you what it is. We can't tell you what it's about. But we just want to get the process started, and we really want you to, fill out this application, do this Zoom call, blah, 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 blah." We did the whole 9 yards, and they're like, "All right, we need you to block off this 3 week period." I'm like, "Okay." So literally get a phone call. It was like, "Hey, you're flying out in 5 days." I'm like, "Okay." Luckily at the time, didn't have a job full time, so I was like, "Okay, cool, let's hop on this flight real quick." They flew me out to San Francisco. I had a driver, was the coolest dude ever. It was a really cool experience. We actually shot the first episode after COVID.
Okay.
So we were we were like the test dummies. They didn't know what procedures to do. They didn't know if we need to wear a mask full time. Then we wear a mask and we got lines on our face on the camera. They didn't want that. So it was like, we were really like the experimental group to see how they should do their operations. But no, it was a really great time. They took care of us. We ate well. We got to meet Guy Fieri, of course. He pulled up in this 2-door Rolls Royce, dude. It was so nice. It was like so nice. No, it was really cool though. It was a really enjoyable experience.
So you didn't get pulled up in the Rolls Royce either?
No, I didn't.
Uber XL probably.
I pulled up in a minivan that day.
Hey, who cares? Hey, did you have a TV on it too? Like, like some of those Ubers and Lyfts though. I mean, they have the LED lights around going with the music.
No, bro,
like,
it was an old lady driving a minivan. She's like, "All right, loaded all of the people." We didn't know each other. We were all staying in the same hotel, but we didn't know each other until that morning that we were going to be shooting with each other and essentially competing against each other for the prize. So we all hop in this minivan together, introducing ourselves. And from that, I got 3 amazing, friends out of it, because the people that I competed against ended up being friends for the long run. So yeah, that was really cool experience.
Well, it's like, when did you really start on your content creation side? Because you don't just take photos of your food. I mean, you're good at your photography skills.
Yeah.
So when did that start? Because that has helped, in my opinion, that helped separate you from a lot of people. In addition to like obviously good food, but your food's excuse me, your food is Instagrammable. The food is good, but you're taking really good photos. So when did that side of JR?
Yeah, I knew that presentation was key. Ever since I started JR's Gourmet, I just started cooking in general. I always knew that plating and presentation was key. And I knew that the deliverable in between that was photography. Like, your food can look good, but if you take a crappy picture, then you got a crappy photo. But if you have a good food that looks good already, have a good photo, and you're posting that, your interaction is going to be tremendous. And it's a little bit, and I know some creatives can attest to this, that sometimes your content is too good and it doesn't get received. And so we were in this weird phase when we were transitioning from when I was transitioning from taking pictures on my phone to professional pictures. It didn't get as much engagement. And I know a lot of people that put a lot of effort into their production and their videos and their editing and all this type of stuff, and then it gets 5 likes. And sometimes as a creative, it can be discouraging, but that just means that you're pivoting from one market, one niche to another market.
Yep.
And so it took us a while to find our clientele that was a little bit of a higher end clientele, to actually lock that down and see hey, this is a marketing strategy that's going to work for us. But I knew for a fact that I needed to learn photography in order to help promote my business. So that's what I did.
Yeah. So when did you start doing Winterfest downtown?
Yeah. So our first year was, that was 2021. 2021 was our first year doing Winterfest down at Keener Plaza. We got to work with amazing companies like Bank of America, Gateway Arch Park Foundation, some amazing groups of people, amazing individuals. And it really like kind of helped us build not only our business, but also like our hospitality and building our professionalism, because we're dealing with these huge corporations. And if you are invoicing a huge corporation, you can't send a cash up request. Yeah, you gotta have your stuff together, bro. You gotta have your contract in place. You gotta have your invoice with your title and your header on it. Like everything has to look professional in order for these companies to even take you serious. And then a lot of things too with these huge corporations that we found out is that if you don't charge enough, they're not gonna go with you. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we think that, oh, it's Bank of America, we can charge them probably like $5,000 and we'll be good. It's like, no, sometimes that number is too low. They're not going to trust your work ethic and they're not going to pay for it. Yep. So bump it up a little bit, but don't bump it up too much, because then they'll know that you're trying to take advantage of them. Because it's like a happy medium. It's a green area with a lot of these larger companies.
Well, you're learning the business too.
Yeah. Because
it's like you said, it's different working with a corporation than it is you reach out to me and I cash app you. You know what I mean? It's important. Like, how did you learn this stuff? Was it just on the go, or?
It was a lot of trial and error, honestly. It was a lot of trial and error. So luckily I got a jump start when I first started JS Gourmet. At the time, my mom was working at WashU. So she had a lot of doctors and a lot of nurses and stuff that were buying our goods and all that type of stuff, catering services, all the whole 9 yards. And that kind of pushed us to get in this era where we had to have our stuff together, be a little bit more professional, because we're dealing with high dollar clients in their multi-million-dollar mansions. So it's like you gotta have to have a certain level of professionalism to deal with these clients. Luckily, I had that going on early, and that like really helped lock down a lot of things further in my career.
And then you launched a spice line?
Yeah.
What year was that?
So this is the top of 2022. So this is last year, beginning of last year, right after the first Winterfest that we were a part of after COVID. We launched J Rice Spice. And so the whole backstory behind that is I posted a poll on Instagram and I asked people, what keeps you from cooking? What prevents you from cooking in the kitchen? And it shocked me that a lot of people said that they don't know how to season food.
Like, it's just important.
Yeah, it's very important. They didn't know how to season food, or not even that. They didn't know what seasonings go great with which proteins or which vegetables. So I was like, okay, what can we do to make this a lot easier? And we created these pre-measured and blended spice containers. And so you literally you read the back of the label, see what it goes good with. We have a bunch of recipes on the website and on our Instagram and stuff. But you literally get this spice container, it has everything that you need in there. It's perfectly like balanced and all this type of stuff. And you just sprinkle it on your food and it's killer. So right now we have 9 blends that we have that are available on jricespice.com. Plug.
Yeah, hey, that's what we're about on here, plugging.
But yeah, no, it took off, and we were able to ship spices across the country to chefs, to freelancers, to at-home cooks, to influencers. Like it was really nice. Yeah.
So I gotta tell you guys a funny story. It's been a few months since I've done it, but there was a stretch when I first got the different spices. I'd actually call him like, "Hey, I'm making chicken. I want to switch things up. Which one should I do?" Yeah. He's like, "You're putting together like a 500 person, like you're about to cater for 500 people, probably on WashU campus or at some corporate office." And I'm calling this guy like, "Hey man, which one should I use on?" Like, and he's there though. He picks up. So appreciate that.
Oh, no problem, dude. But yeah, like it's an educational piece that I wanted to be there. I wanted a product that would not only make revenue, because every business needs to make revenue. Yeah. But I also wanted to be a community-based product. And I still have pages of how we can use J Rice Spice as a community building tactical, like really engaging the community with cooking and getting younger kids on board, because it just makes a lot of the steps so much easier when you have the guidance to like prepare a great meal, but you also have the tools accessible to prepare a great meal.
Well, you make it easy, because it's like I have 6 different spices to pick from.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm not a big fan of cooking, I mean, I do it, but I'm not a big fan, is because I got to mix this with this and this and that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Like, literally, I have 6 spices to pick from.
Yeah.
JR, which one?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? But
exactly.
Like, and it says it on there. It actually does say, hey, this is good for, fish, chicken, things like that. But I still call. Just check in too, man. See what you're up to. Speaking about what you're up to, let's talk about Rated.
Yeah,
because that's coming.
Rated Test Kitchen. Depending on when you air this, it might be open already. But yeah, Rated Test Kitchen. So I was scrolling through Facebook one day and I saw this listing for this space downtown I was like, wow, this is a really, really cool space. So I hit the guy up and I was like, hey, I just want to come tour the space. Just want to look at it to get a vibe and feel for it. I walked into the space and I was automatically like attached to it. I was like, I have to have this space. And I was like, what concept would work here? I was like, we did dinner parties all through COVID. We've mastered that. So let's take that concept that we've already mastered and put it into a reoccurring format, a restaurant format. And so we came up with Rated Test Kitchen. So it's a private dining sector, 7 courses. We actually did 7 courses because the address is 313. We couldn't get 314 as our address. We got 313. So we were like, all right, we'll do 3 courses in the beginning, 1 break, and then 3 courses at the end. So that's where you get the 7 courses from. But yeah, Rated Test Kitchen, I found that there was a disconnect, especially after COVID, because you get these Uber Eats and these DoorDashes and stuff, and you're really detached from the restaurant or the chef that's making your food. Sometimes food just shows up at your door and you don't know who the hell made it. And so we were like, let's really like make this really intimate. Let's really make it where the community or the guests are having feedback for the food that they're eating, because that's always great. And we had a huge thing happen with one of our contracts where we had this lady write this long Yelp review. And it was like, it would have been so much easier if she was just able to speak to us directly for the problems that she had. Yeah. So why not just allow the guests to rate the food as they're eating it, and it just also allows the guests to feel like they're a part of something. So that's kind of how we came up with the whole rated concept.
And I feel like at that point, like after you tell the chef, hey, I wish it was, less salty or whatever, then you almost get like a 5-star Yelp review at that point. Like, I told him, he fixed it. Yeah. Bam.
Exactly. And that's what we want to feel. Obviously, we'll justify it a little bit. Like if one person says it's not enough salt and someone says it's too much salt, we got to find that happy medium. But it's all about personal preference. But we just want to get a feel for each one of our guests. We wanted to make it feel like when you're walking into Rated Test Kitchen and you've been here 3 times before, you're greeted at the front door with your name. We know what you like. We know how to accommodate for you. Like, it really want to feel like you're walking into your own space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Like, so just something about, like, so people will come in and then you'll almost have their preference. So will the chef, is it a 2-hour window?
Yeah, 2-hour window.
So the chef will know, like, hey, Braden's coming in. Mm-hmm. He likes, his fries.
We know Braden can't do high sodium, so we're going to accommodate a little bit to try to make it comfortable for his experience. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a game changer.
Yeah, so it's really personal. Then that's what we wanted. We didn't want it to be this huge thing where we're feeding 800 people at a time. We're only feeding 25 to 30 people at a time. So we really want this to be customized for the reoccurring guests that we have. And we're also switching, forgot to mention, we're also switching our menu bi-monthly. So each time that you make a reservation, you're going to get to try something totally different that you've never experienced before.
I really like that aspect that it's intimate too.
Yeah.
It's like it's... even if there's 40 tables, not to knock places with, do we have many places with 40?
Yeah, there's a decent amount. Yeah.
I went in Katie's Pizza last night, and I mean, that's like 40 tables. But not to knock anything like that, but what I like about this is it's very intimate. I've been inside the place. I haven't been in
You haven't been recent. Yeah. You were in there when there was like construction still going on.
Yeah, a few months ago. But like it's, it's there for people to just, it's a vibe, man. Yeah. It's like something I've experienced in other cities versus this big commercialized thing.
And that's kind of a part of our bigger picture, is that we want St. Louis, or not even St. Louis, the Midwest, to just be a hub for culinary. A lot of times you see a lot of trending stuff in the East Coast and West Coast, and it comes to the Midwest. We want to switch that directional. We wanted to make it where everything that is new and trendy is coming from the Midwest going to the East and West Coast. And I think we can do it. We got a lot of talent here. It just has to break through this barrier, because right now a lot of culinary creatives, or just creatives in general, are being suppressed by the market in St. Louis. And it's like, we just want to open up that floodgate and allow chefs to chef. Like that's our main goal.
Well, it's like before we started recording the podcast, everybody, we're talking about Metro Boomin, but like he's shaped hip hop over the last 10 years. Yeah. Worked with, some of from Drake, Kanye, 21 Savage, Travis Scott.
Yeah.
And
Migos. Pretty much everybody, bro. So,
he's literally shaped it, and that's a guy from St. Louis. And so I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And plus, like, I think we're in a time where, like, people want flair. They want that flair when they go out to eat. They want that wow factor. You know? Like, and that's amazing that you're gonna provide those opportunities, because I think St. Louis, it's like we've gotten accustomed to just the traditional way, and we're in a new wave right now. On everything.
Yeah, we are. Like, there's so many developments that are going on in St. Louis right now. Even like developments that have plans now that won't be active until the next 5 to 8 years. It's like
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, it's like St. Louis is about to pivot tremendously, and I don't think that the people in St. Louis know about it or they're ready for it. But it's gonna happen very soon.
Well, it takes people like you to help push that.
Yeah.
People like me. We got Dante, Jason in here.
Yeah.
A few other people, but it takes us keep pushing us forward in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
So what else are you working on, man? I know you got some stuff coming up here. I guess you can't tease too much.
I can't tease too much. I can't give away any names or releases, but we have some really cool projects in the works for just kind of wrapping up the end of this year, going out with a huge bang. And I really think that this Halloween and this holiday season at the end of the year, it's gonna be tremendous, bro. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool. We're really working on some really unique projects, and Braden included is a part of these, because we're just about creating experiences for St. Louis, for people to go out, have fun with friends and family, and really make this not only a great destination for St. Louisans, but also a tourist destination.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that's one of the goals on the podcast: change the way you experience St. Louis.
Yeah.
One episode at a time.
Yeah.
And so you guys will see some of this, but you also have some other stuff coming up, and we'll have to follow up on that probably in about 6 months from now. Maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
So you guys should stay tuned on that. Just
definitely
follow. Is it Chef JR or Chef underscore?
Chef_.jr on Instagram.
Damn.
Yeah. Juwan Rice on every other platform, but yeah, man, I'm super excited.
That's all we can say.
I know, right? I'm so excited to see that, like, how we're able to use social media to benefit not only us but local businesses, and I think you're doing a really great job on it. But yeah, no, I think that St. Louis is going to be like the city. It's going to be the hub for the Midwest pretty soon.
We're confident in that.
Yeah.
On all three cameras.
We're confident on all three cameras on that. Yeah.
This will be fun to look back on.
I know,
5
right?
years. We'll be doing this in front of an audience instead of stuffed teddy bears from Cardinal games and stuff. But yeah, so one thing let's talk about your future.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals and dreams, and how can St. Louis help you get there?
Yeah. So back to Rated Test Kitchen. We're in downtown St. Louis. We're in the heart of downtown St. Louis. I mean, we're right at 11th and Locust, 2 blocks off of Wash Ave. We're right around the corner from the huge AT&T building that's under redevelopment right now. But yeah, the reason I put it in downtown St. Louis is, one, because I love the location, and two, is because of the community impact that we want to provide. We want to provide a community-based business in a sense that we're providing chefs with an outlet for them to explore their talents. But we're also providing downtown St. Louis right now is kind of a dead zone. And I hate to say it, but it's the truth. There's not a lot of businesses going on. There's not a lot of interaction going on. There's not a lot of tourists visiting. But we want to change that. And it starts with people in St. Louis. So if we can create a St. Louis-based business that allows people from the county and other areas to come to downtown St. Louis and enjoy a great meal, great experience, that's what we can do on our part to help that. And so Rated Test Kitchen is one of the many restaurants that I want to put in downtown St. Louis. So yeah.
One of the many.
Yeah. There's some other things in the works right now, but yeah.
Man, so many teasers.
I know, right?
We'll circle back here in several months and be like, all right, you said this, you said that. This is, you guys.
Where are they at? Yeah. Damn. Where are they now? We were just talking about that. Where are they now? Yeah.
It's like, was it like the childhood stars?
Yeah.
Where is this person from, I don't know, Sister or Boy Meets World or something? It's like, oh, snap. So one thing on the podcast, we like asking guests, who are 3 people you would love to join you for a meal? So it could be at a booth, it could be at a table, whatever. 3 guests, dead or alive, famous. Could be a neighbor, could be a person you just met 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Who would they be and why?
Yeah. It's a tough question, man. I would definitely say one of the first ones would be Walt Disney. Because he was a creative, but he was able to do it and make it profitable, make it a business, make it an enjoyable experience for billions of people across the world.
You can't buy bananas without seeing Mickey Mouse on a
exactly. So definitely Walt Disney would have to be one of them. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I definitely got to get my boy Barack in there.
Okay.
Barack. Got to get Barack. And maybe we'll do like the 1.5. We got to get Michelle in there as well.
Yeah.
She can just walk in and walk out.
She'll have a table, or she'll have a seat, and then he'll have like a...
She'll just drop Barack off, and I'll just say, hey, Michelle, how you doing? Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
As you were telling me off camera about the whole motorcade that went in front of radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Of Beyonce, which... Close enough to a president.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Queen.
I think her security is better than
most presidents.
Yeah.
That's probably why she went up that. That was a random route.
It is a random route.
But you have to, because if everyone thinks you're going this way, you got to...
And you go this way, it's like,
Boom, Secret Service.
Yeah. And plus that street leads right to the back of the dome.
The back of the dome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you have Walt Disney, Barack with Michelle dropping off Barack to say hi. And then who would be a third one?
Oh, man. This might get some drama, but I would say Kanye West, honestly. Yeah. I would say Kanye West. I think
pre-2019 or something.
Yeah. Pre-19 Kanye. But one thing that I love about what Kanye West was able to do just through his journey that I've seen is that he was able to not only build something new and unique, but he was also able to change the mind of people that were so stagnant. Yep. And I think that's something that a lot of us are trying to do now. And I definitely think that we can like find a little bit of inspiration in some of that. So, yeah.
Walt Disney, Barack, and Kanye, and Michelle.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So before I let you go, one thing we like to leave the listeners with, the people viewing this all over the world on YouTube, is words of wisdom. Whether it's someone that wants to do what you're doing, or maybe it's someone going through a tough time. What are some words of wisdom that you would like to leave them with? Yeah,
I think this is something that it kind of took some of us a while to realize, but we have to set ourselves up for success. And I say that because a lot of times we try to do so many different things, and a lot of our answers that we get from people are no. But if you are in a position where you're presenting everything, you have everything in order, you have everything ready to go before you even bring this idea to anyone, you're putting them in a position where they can't say no. And so that's something that we have to do as creatives, because sometimes we fire off so many ideas and so many things and they're not solidified. But if you have everything in place, you have let's say you want to do an event, you have everything in place. You have the marketing, you have the branding, you have the concept, you have the people in place, you have the staff in place, and you present it to a company that wants to be a sponsor, they're going to be in a position where they can't say no because you've done the back work.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would definitely say, try to get yourself in a mindset of presenting to people where they cannot say no to you.
With all your stuff together.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, well, hey, you're lost. On to the next.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, awesome. How can people follow you, whether you personally, Chef JR, or Rated, JR Square Made, J Rice Spice, and the other like 20 projects you're probably working
I know, right? Everything is, I use my personal page as a hub for everything else that I have going on. So chef_.jr on Instagram, Juwan Rice on Facebook, and whatever else is out there. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah.
And then does Rated have a wait list right now?
Rated does have a wait list. We have almost 400 people right now that are waiting for us to go live with our link. So
how can we sign up to get on that wait list?
Definitely go to rated-tk.com and you'll see a tab that says join the list. The list is our exclusive invite list only, and we're sending out those are the people that get dibs on everything first. So if you're not on the list, then you won't be in attendance, long story short. So make sure you guys sign up for the list. Yeah,
get on that list. JR, I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on. And make sure to give him a follow, and I'll see you guys next time. As always, I want to thank all my co-hosts, the people behind the scenes, including Jason, who is editing this, along with Midcoast Media for hosting us at their studio right here in Midtown St. Louis. If you enjoyed the show, then please like and subscribe on YouTube and follow at OpeCast the Pod on all social channels as we grow our community.